In 2008, archaeologists opened a Roman villa buried by Vesuvius. On the wall, they found a fresco, Medusa's severed head, snakes writhing, mouth open in a silent scream. But here's what's strange. 600 years earlier, the Greeks painted her completely differently. Today, we're tracing how one myth evolved across 1,000 years, from Bronze Age Greece to Imperial Rome, and what those changes reveal about the people who told them. Because the Medusa, that's not where the story started. The earliest version of Medusa appears around 700 BCE in the poet Hesiod's Theogony, basically the Greek creation myth textbook. And in this version, Medusa isn't human at all. She's born a Gorgon, one of three immortal sisters, Stheno, Euryale, and Medusa. They live at the edge of the world, in a place the Greeks called beyond the sunset. Here's the key detail. Medusa is the only mortal one. Early Greek art shows her as terrifying but not tragic, a monster. Then Perseus shows up. Sent by a king who wants him dead, Perseus is given an impossible quest. Bring back Medusa's head. He gets help from the gods, a mirrored shield from Athena, winged sandals from Hermes, a sword that can cut anything. He finds Medusa sleeping, approaches backward, watching her reflection in his shield. One swing of the sword, and it's over. But here's what Hesiod emphasizes. From her blood, two beings are born. Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, a giant with a golden sword. Why are they born from her blood? Because according to Hesiod, Medusa had been pregnant by Poseidon, god of the sea, and her children emerged from her neck. The Greeks told this story for 600 years. Then a Roman poet picked up a pen and changed everything. The year is 8 CE. Augustus is emperor of Rome, and a poet named Ovid is writing a massive collection of myths called the Metamorphoses. Metamorphoses means transformations. The entire work is about people and gods changing form. Daphne into a tree, Arachne into a spider, Narcissus into a flower. Ovid reaches the Medusa story, and he asks a question no Greek poet had asked. Why was Medusa the only mortal Gorgon? Why could she be killed when her sisters couldn't? His answer: she wasn't born that way. She was made that way. According to Ovid, Medusa was once a beautiful young woman, a priestess in Athena's temple. Her hair was her most stunning feature. Classical writers were obsessed with hair as a symbol of beauty and status. Then Poseidon, god of the sea, saw her in the temple, and he assaulted her, in Athena's temple, on sacred ground. Ovid uses the Latin word vitiavit, violated, corrupted, defiled. There's no ambiguity in the text about consent. When Athena discovered what happened in her temple, she was furious. But not at Poseidon, at Medusa. The goddess transformed her priestess as punishment. Her beautiful hair became serpents. Her face became so hideous that anyone who looked at her would turn to stone. Medusa was exiled to the edge of the world, alone. And that's where Perseus found her centuries later. Still alone, still monstrous, still paying for a crime she didn't commit. When Perseus cut off her head, Ovid says Athena placed it on her shield, the aegis. Medusa's face, forever trapped, still protecting the goddess who punished her. Ovid's version is the one that survived. It's the one we know today. But why did he change it? So we have two completely different stories. First, Greek versus Roman storytelling. Greeks used myths to explain the world. Monsters represented chaos, boundaries, the unknown. Medusa was a cautionary tale about hubris and danger. The Greeks didn't need her to have a backstory. Romans used myths differently. They loved transformation stories, people changing form as punishment or reward. Ovid's Metamorphoses is full of gods punishing mortals for perceived offenses. Medusa fit that pattern perfectly. Second, the Athena problem. Athena was the goddess of wisdom, warfare, and crafts, one of the most powerful Olympians, virgin goddess. Her temple being violated was a massive problem, symbolically and religiously. But in Roman society, and this is key, women were often held responsible for male violence against them. Victim blaming wasn't just common, it was codified in law and custom. Medusa is transformed because she defiled the temple, even though Poseidon was the one who violated it. Athena punishes the victim because punishing Poseidon, her uncle, a major god, was politically impossible. Third, what Romans did to Greek myths. Romans borrowed heavily from Greek mythology, but they changed what they borrowed. They made the gods more moral, more judicial, more concerned with punishment and justice. Greek gods were chaotic, contradictory, petty. They did horrible things and faced no consequences. Roman gods were supposed to represent order and law. Ovid's Medusa story adds moral logic to a myth that originally had none. It makes Athena's actions make sense, even if the sense is deeply unjust. And it worked. Ovid's version became the definitive one for the next 2,000 years. Fast forward to the 20th and 21st centuries. Ovid's version is the one in art museums, poetry, pop culture. When you think Medusa, you think beautiful woman, assaulted, transformed into monster, killed by hero. But modern readers noticed something Ovid might not have intended. Medusa's gaze, the thing that turns people to stone, can be read as protection. After her assault, after her transformation, no one can touch her. Anyone who tries to look at her, to approach her, becomes stone. She's isolated, but she's also powerful, untouchable. In the 1970s, feminist scholars began reinterpreting the myth. Medusa became a symbol of female rage, of survival, of victims who refuse to stay silent. The snakes become a crown. The deadly gaze becomes agency. Perseus, in this reading, isn't a hero. He's the final injustice. A man sent to kill a woman who's already been punished for someone else's crime. Now, here's the important part. This is a modern interpretation. So we have three Medusas. 1. Hesiod's Medusa, 700 BCE, born a monster. Part of the chaotic, dangerous world beyond civilization. No moral lesson, just danger too. Ovid's Medusa, 8 CE, made a monster as punishment, victim of gods and divine injustice. Moral tale about consequences and hierarchy. 3. Modern Medusa, 20th to 21st century, symbol of survival and rage, reclaimed as protector, not monster feminist icon. The stories don't die, they transform, just like Medusa herself. The next time you see Medusa's face, remember, you're looking at a story that's been retold for nearly 3,000 years, and every version reveals something about the people who told it. Same snakes, different story.